Coming up on this week's edition of AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf, we'll look back at the buzzer beater, the victory over Bucknell. Senior guard and preseason Patriot League Player of the Year Saeed Nelson joins the discussion, and we look forward to the game against the Holy Cross Crusaders. It all starts right now. Welcome into AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf. Dan Laing, Coach Brennan, and Coach coming off a big win the other night at home against Bucknell. A little buzzer beater action for you.
Yeah, no, great play by Saeed and Connor to make it happen. But proud of the guys for sticking with it. We had a lead. Sort of lost the lead, but they they kept fighting and got lucky at the end.
How tough was that? I mean, you guys at one point had a 12-point lead, saw that evaporate away into a 2-point lead for Bucknell with about 6 seconds to go or so before pulling off the buzzer beater. Just take us through what was going through your mind on the sidelines during that.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone says the basketball is a game of runs.
Yeah.
So I mean, they went up early on us too. They got like a 9-point lead or 10-point lead. So it's those things are going to happen. You just got to sort of stick with what you're doing. Chip away at it, make some shots, make some plays, and we were able to do that. So especially, last 5 seconds there.
Now for you as a coach, when you have such a close game, such a buzzy, a back and forth, within a point or two type of thing, what is going through your mind? Like as you're watching the game and then trying to think through like what may happen and what you may need to do and what plays you may need to try to run and personnel you may need to have on the floor. Take us through kind of what your thought process is in such a tight game.
Well, as long as Saeed's out there, I feel good. And then, hope you have your assistant coaches that are, thinking through all the, substitutions and what to run and who should be in and all that kind of stuff. So, it's a group effort. But at the end of the day, I'd feel confident with pretty much anybody on our team being out there, in those moments. I mean, it was plain to see. In that game, Connor is new. It's his first year. He's still trying to figure things out, and he's able to make a big play for us. So it could have been anybody. It's how we play. We share the ball. So I was, happy for Connor, happy for the team.
Take us through that play that was the buzzer beater that when Connor stuck the tray. Take us through what you were talking about on the side there as you guys came out with 5.4 left to run.
Yeah, I mean, everybody runs it, same play. It's just sort of you run up like you're setting a ball screen and you just slip it. It's hard to guard. I mean, Bucknell was doing it, throughout the night. And they got some edges on it. But, Saeed, coming off of that, he's so fast, especially coming down full court. It's really hard to guard, but he made a terrific play, terrific pass to Connor, who had the wherewithal to sort of, survey the court, take his time, and sort of make the shot.
And that speaks a lot to Connor here in his first year at AU, the comfort level of being able to get the ball, create a little space, knowing that time is running out, but still creating a little space and then putting the shot up, as opposed to maybe if you had an even younger player or a guy that didn't have as much experience, as opposed to a guy that comes in as a transfer, just throwing the shot up with a couple seconds to go just because I don't want to be the guy holding the ball if the clock expires.
Yeah, no, I mean, Connor has really good basketball instincts. He's a savvy player. He picks things up really quickly. And our offense is sort of based on that, based on making reads and being able to sort of survey the situation, play with your teammates, and having everybody be able to make a play. So I was glad it was Connor in that instance because he's one of the better guys at it. But it just, it says a lot about him, and about all the time and effort he's put in so far that he's been here. And he's going to, continue to be a really good player for us.
And the last couple games in particular, the loss up at Lehigh, he had 19 points. And then the other night in the Bucknell game, he had 13, including the game winner. So that shows that career high against Lehigh wasn't just an outlier.
Yeah, no, not at all, not at all. Again, and it's he's still sort of figuring things out, So we're throwing a lot of.
So watch out, Patriot League, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's consistent. So and like once he's on the court and everybody else sort of knows what they're doing, I think all of these guys' ability will show up. I mean, Marvin played a lot more against Bucknell just because we needed some stability, somebody who who just knows what they're doing, has been around, so he can help sort of the new guys, be open, be in the right spots, run our offense. So again, it just goes back to being able to rely on multiple guys throughout the game. I mean, even Ben Lebarski, freshman, didn't play at all. He's had some sort of back issues, but if he was in the game, I'd feel completely confident. If he's guarding Monty Toomer or Meeks in the post, so we got a bunch of guys with a lot of ability that I'm excited about for the future.
One of the things that Connor said after the game the other night against Bucknell, he was talking about the fact you guys are working with him on his footwork. Take us into what it is that you guys have seen and what you're trying to get him to do as far as the footwork goes.
Yeah, just be a little more consistent with everything that he does. I mean, junior college, it's a little more open and loose, and so all his instincts would show up. He would get a ton of steals, but he would also, his man would be just blowing by him if he didn't get a steal. So I think just holding him just a little more accountable, giving him a little more, solidity and substance to his overall game, including the footwork, because he can really shoot. He's a really good passer. So as long as there's some stability in his legs, so it'll help his overall game.
The other night you had 5 players in double-digit scoring, first time this year that you had that happen. Connor, of course, had the 13 points. You had Jameer Harris, the birthday boy, with 14. Stacey Beckton had 10. Saeed had 10, and Mark Gasparini had 10 points. And that just speaks to you guys being able to sort of spread the wealth.
Yeah, well, it's sharing the ball. I was happy to see Stacey just being more aggressive, which we need from him. And then Mark, the scoring is great, but I'm glad he's going after rebounds. I mean, that's the big sort of thing that I see from him this year is the rebounding, just his activity level, getting tough rebounds in defensive situations, and then going after offensive rebounds. He's made some big plays for us. So we just got to continue to have all the guys do that and get more guys to sort of go after offensive rebounds too.
It was really nice to see Mark bounce back after he had a down game against Lehigh, had a double-double in points and in rebounds. From a coaching perspective, how good is that to see a guy that you're going to rely on so much come off a 2-point performance and be able to put up a double-double in a big game at home against one of the league's better teams?
Yeah, no, Mark's been excellent this year, especially in league play. So, I mean, he just missed some shots against Lehigh. The whole team didn't play well down there. So which is going to happen. So he's been consistent, and it's mostly a result of his effort and practice every day. I mean, it sounds, simple and coachy and cliche and all that, but it's true. I mean, he puts in the work, you put in the time. You work on your game the way you're supposed to as an upperclassman in college. Those are the results that you're expecting, and it's good that we finally have a team, of sort of upperclassmen that work, that put in the time and the effort. So this sort of new group of guys, the younger guys, can look at that and see that. So I mean, the group's been great, throughout the year. So I'm excited so far for where we're at, and sort of because there's a lot of progress that we can still make this year. Each guy can get better, and we can get better as a team.
What are some of the areas in particular that you want to see strides made as Patriot League play continues as a team, and anybody in particular that you want to see anything big from? Or I guess let's start with the team first.
Yeah, I mean, just basketball acumen, just understanding what a good shot is, what a good play is, communicating on both ends of the court. So just understanding the game, understanding the stakes, sort of getting out of your own head as an individual, and just understanding, well, what are we trying to do as a collective unit, which for new guys, it's always hard trying to figure out, well, where do I fit in? What's my role? All that kind of stuff. But and then you're trying to have them be aggressive as well. So it's a difficult balance for new guys, but they're doing a great job at it.
And how about the idea that against Bucknell, you were able to come in? The Bison were a little short. They had a couple guys in Funk and Moore that were sick and out, one injured, one on the flu. And then during the game, they had Newman go out with cramps. And you guys were able to seize the moment. You were able to take advantage of that and beat him on the boards and beat him in the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's we went down to Lehigh and Karnick is out, and I mean, it never matters. There's always you know, the guys on the bench are good players. Everyone has a full complement of players. That's why you have a team full, 13 scholarship guys, and they all want to play. So someone goes down, and hey, this is your time. I mean, Ellis, hadn't played, too much before that game, but his minutes went up in that game because he had to, and he banged some big threes against us. So, every team has players that are good that can step in and sort of fill the role. So you just got to be ready, regardless of who's out there. Your team has to be ready to execute and do the things that you work on.
That's why the Patriot League standings are so bunched up as we sit here right now, leading into the game coming up against Holy Cross on Saturday afternoon. It's time for our first time out here on AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan. When we continue, Saeed Nelson joins the discussion. That's next. Welcome back to AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf. We're now joined by senior guard Saeed Nelson. Thanks for taking some time. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming here.
Now, the other night, you had a big game, big buzzer-beating victory against Bucknell, 61-60. Take us through that final play when you were bringing the ball up the floor.
It's kind of just the same play we ran right before that play when we scored. Kind of came up, slipped the screen, and depending on if his defender left him, I was going to take the shot, or, his stayed on me, so I threw it to him, and he just waited, took his time, and he just knocked it down. I couldn't be, more excited. At the moment, I was going crazy, so it was just a great feeling, way to end the game off.
And that was something that, so you knew going down the floor it was either going to be you or Connor that were going to be taking the shot.
Yeah. You never know. Something else could have happened, but that was the goal for the play.
And a couple plays before that, you say it was the same play, but you saw a seam and were able to take it when you tied the game at 58 apiece with, I think it was like just over 30 seconds to go.
Yeah. His defender, they got a little confused on who they were guarding, and I just did what I know how to do. I just took the ball to the rim, made the layup.
With it being such a tight game, such a close game, as a player, take me through sort of your mentality and what is going through your mind as you're seeing the teeter-totter, especially late in the game, of the score and the pressure, the stress that you may feel or not.
Just try to keep everybody calm on the court. The last 4 minutes of the game is so crucial. Just sticking together, because it can go from a 2-point game to a 10-point game just like that, and it's out of reach. And that's what's happened to us in the past. So just especially having all these new guys on the court, being able to keep that 2-point lead when they went up two, to just that, and us having the chance to even get a final shot was just great. I was glad everybody was just locked in and just ready to win the game, not thinking about what could have happened.
Are you going to give Connor a little bit of noise because the ESPN top plays came out? You, on the buzzer beater for GW, when you beat GW with your shot, you were second. Connor's shot was third, so you beat him.
I guess, man. It's all good. When you get a win, nothing else matters, man. That's just the best feeling you can have.
When you took on the leadership role, and really you've had that since you came in here, what goes into that, and is that something that's just been natural to you? Obviously you were one of the leaders in high school. You come in here, and you've been one of the focus guys from when you first set foot on campus.
I think of a leader who just is always the guy, somebody on the team to come talk to whenever they need some advice, whenever they're struggling with, either basketball things or school things, whatever they need. And it's a lot about being vocal as well. You know, I didn't have that in high school. I wasn't the most vocal guy. I mean, everybody knew they could come to me, but still on the court and speak a lot. But, you know, coming in, you know, college, you got to step up. And I was forced to step up my freshman year. And I think I just have grown as a leader every year since then, just being more vocal, being more in tune on the court and off the court. And I think it's really showing up and it's helping our guys in the locker room on and off the court.
And so much has been put on you. You know, you have Patriot League preseason player of the year. You have the chance to get to the AU scoring title. Obviously, you want to win here, you know, your senior year. How do you deal with all the pressure and all the things that are sort of put on you by everyone?
I just try not to think about it too much. I mean, obviously,
Guys
you
like
hear
me
it.
bring it
Yeah,
right?
you hear it all the time. You're gonna break the record. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. I mean, but I just, my main goal is to win a league championship. I just try to go every night. Whatever's clicking, we just keep hitting that note. You know, last game, my shot wasn't falling, but still trying to get other guys involved who are making shots. I mean, it's all about winning that game. So, I mean, everything else, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I said, as long as we get the win, I'm not complaining at all.
Now, a cool thing happened the other day. You passed Andre Ingram on the scoring list here at American University, and he sent a little message on Twitter. That had to have been cool from an AU alum and an NBA veteran to get a message.
And that was very cool. It was exciting just to hear that. Just to hear he says, "It's other people watching. You never know. Congratulations." I mean, it means a lot for somebody like him to take the time out of his day, you know, to tweet that video to me, you know. So, I mean, I was very grateful. It was dope.
Yeah,
it was dope
absolutely.
to see.
Now we do have another message that we want to share with you from another prestigious AU alum.
My man Saeed, I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying watching your senior season. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you're sticking with us. And I can't tell you how much fun it's been to watch you on this basketball court for the last 4 years. Continued success during your senior season, my man. Go Eagles.
You have another one, you know, from a guy like David Aldridge, you know, a Hall of Famer, another AU alum, another guy that's obviously had a big presence in the NBA, covering the NBA.
Yeah, that means a lot. I mean, you see him on TV all the time, you know, interviewing the greatest athletes on the planet. So he's seen it all, and for him to just be still coming to our games, supporting us, you know, even when we were losing the past couple years, it just means a lot.
And he's not just showing up to games; he's coming to practices.
Yeah.
You know, he's really into it.
Just having him on the sideline, you know, just knowing he's there. I see him for the game. I always see him. It's just a great feeling to have somebody like that in your corner.
And he said, you know, he's really noticing what you guys are doing this year. Speak to the chemistry that you guys have on the floor this year and how well things seem to be clicking, especially from that component of things. You mentioned that you have some new faces, but it seems like everything seems to be clicking.
I just think this year we have a lot of dudes who can do more than we've had in the past. You know, I don't have to start the offense every time. You know, I feel comfortable with Jameer, Stacy, or Jacob, you know, bringing the ball up and getting things rolling, and it just makes the game easier for me, and it makes it easier for them, so that they have the ability to go to the rim, to shoot pull-up jump shots, and you know, with them bringing the ball up, they're allowed to do that now, and you know that's scary for other defenses. I feel like to just not key on me, because if they do now, you know, we got a lot of guys who can hit shots, who can go to the basket, get fouled, make free throws. It just makes the game easier.
Now, you mentioned Jameer Harris, birthday boy the other day, the Bucknell Day. So, you know, he had a big key in that game as well. He had, I think it was 14 points on his birthday, so that was pretty cool. But you've known Jameer since you guys were, you know, just little, I mean, I don't know if it was toddlers, but just little dudes running around.
Yeah, I think we were about 8 or 9. Finally, joined his AAU team. And, you know, we were cool. We were very cool on the team. But then, you know, one weekend, I think my parents couldn't make it to a game or a tournament, and I had nowhere to stay, or unless I wasn't going to the game.
Right.
And his parents offered to let me stay at the house for the whole weekend just to play the tournament game, and from there on out, it was just it's all love. I mean, basketball is one thing, but letting me stay at their house when they just met me that year, you know, that goes a long way. That means a lot. So, you know, after that, we played for that year. I think I might have switched teams, but we stayed in touch. He's from North Jersey, so he went to high school up there. But we'd still be, keeping in contact, just checking on each other here and there about how our seasons are going. And then last year, when I heard he was leaving the school and looking to come here, I was like, oh, yo, like, what's up, man? What you want to do? So, I called him. We talked a lot before the year he transferred in. And then when he came on his visit, I was straight up with him. I told him like how it is here, how it is playing for Coach Brennan, the type of offense we run, and just told him we could do something special on the court. And just being real with him, he took that into consideration. And when he said he was coming here, I was the first person that called him. I would hope to think I was. So I'm just excited. I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's on the team. I couldn't ask for another brother that I like. That's actually like one of my brothers on the team.
And he's a good guy to have around. Brings a lot of positive energy.
A lot of energy.
Not just on the floor, but off the floor.
Yeah.
He wants to be in broadcasting.
Yeah. He's a very vocal guy too. So that helps me out a lot. Takes the pressure off me from being vocal in the locker room too. To him, whenever anything is going on, he's always talking, always communicating. So it's good to have him on the team.
Another guy you mentioned was Stacy, and Stacy Beckton Jr. And the other day in the Bucknell game, he got up high and spiked a shot. I can't remember if it was maybe Toomer. I'm not sure who shot it, but we've seen that a few times from him. But his athleticism is ringing true this year.
Yeah, it's off the charts. I mean, Stacy's a freak, man. I'm glad he's been more aggressive this year. I think he's always had it in him, but like I said, now other guys have the chance to fill in the role that I guess I had to always try to do. Start the offense, do a lot for the team, and they're stepping into it. So it just allows him to be more aggressive, and he's been showing people what he can do. I mean, I love it. So I'm gonna keep telling him to keep doing the same things.
Now you mentioned when you were talking to Jameer about bringing him in here, you were talking about what it's like to play for Coach Brennan. What has it been like to play for Mike? For the 4 years that you've been here.
Just being more of a player outside of just seeing your man. When people guard you, a guy in front of you is like, oh, he can't guard me, so I can just go past him. But it's seeing beyond that, and I feel like he's taught us that in the years to learn how to play for our teammates. Mostly, high school, you could just do whatever you want, go past whoever you want, score on whoever you want. So, but here at AU, he's taught us how to play more for our teammates. When everybody's getting involved, it makes the game easier. And when we do have wins, especially the win versus Bucknell, it was a team win. Everybody was involved, everybody was getting shots, getting touches. So, I just think him telling us to play for other people, that's really helped us.
And when you sit there and think through your career, and there's still scripts to be written on your career clearly, but is there a moment or a couple moments that you think back to that really have helped define your time here at AU? Anything in particular, or any, I don't know if number's the right word, either any play or game or anything in particular that you think has really defined you? Like, does that buzzer beater, do you think back to that, or is there something else that you think to?
I don't know. I would like to think it was the last season, that George Mason game, just the opening night. My first 2 years here, opening nights we didn't get a win. We got probably blown out both years. So just coming into that game, the A-10 school, so a big game for us. Coming in, going into their gym, beating them. That's just I don't know. That feeling was just great, because I'm pretty sure the odds weren't for us to win that game. So I don't know. That game will always stick with me, and obviously I got my 1,000 points that game. Yeah. So that's always great. But that win, that's probably the top of the list.
Well, there's still more script to be written, and hopefully more great memories to be had.
Hopefully, yeah.
Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's Saeed Nelson right there, senior guard on the Eagles squad. We'll take a timeout. Mike Brennan rejoins the conversation when we continue on AU Hoop Talk, presented by Launchbox Golf. Welcome back to AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf. And Coach, we just heard from Saeed Nelson. How good or what a pleasant experience has it been to have a guy like Saeed around and on the roster, both from what he can do on the floor, but also the relationship that you have with him?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's such a good kid. He's a great kid. And, he's never have to worry about him going to class, going to study hall, any of that type of stuff, which is a huge part of being a leader in the locker room. So it's not just, everyone thinks about on the court and everything what he does as a player, but he leads us in every way possible. And he's not like a real, vocal sort of yelling at guys. Mm-hmm. He talks to guys. He's, kind of, talking in their ear on the sidelines, or, always giving guys confidence. But then he's just a complete monster on the court. I mean, running around, making plays, getting steals, getting rebounds. I mean, I'll mention to the team, hey, we got to, have some other guys going after offensive rebounds. And the very next play, Saeed soaring through the air. Trying, at least whether he gets it or not, he's doing it, and always helping on defense. I mean, so there's so many things that he does in addition to, the scoring and the assists. I can't say enough about what he's done for the team, for the program. So hopefully we can keep doing what we're doing and help him.
Yeah. Now, when you take a look at Holy Cross, the game coming up here on Saturday afternoon, how do you prevent a letdown? When you look at the stats and you see that they've struggled this year, and you guys are coming off the big buzzer beater victory over Bucknell, how do you sort of prevent that?
Well, I mean, you just prepare the way you would prepare for any other game. I mean, we don't really talk about that stuff too much, because I think our guys know that. You can be had.
Something we'll talk about, but
yeah, exactly. It's I mean, that's not even going through our guys' mind. They know Holy Cross is a tough team, and they're good. They're going to be ready to execute. They're going to make shots. They're going to make plays. So you better bring it just to be in the game. Mm-hmm. You just want to give yourself a chance to win the game at the end. And I probably said this a bunch of times, but it seems like every Patriot League score, it's 67, 65.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure that you're on the winning end.
Well, best of luck against the Crusaders on Saturday.
All right, thanks, Dan.
All right, that's Coach Brennan, and that will do it for this edition of AU Hoop Talk with Coach Brennan, presented by Launchbox Golf. To keep up with the Eagles, do so across all the social media platforms. And to check out a game, log on to aueagles.com/tickets. We'll see you next time.